Issues and trends impacting the retail sector are front and center now in Zacks Retail Spotlight. Well, another month of bad sales being reported as January retail sales were in the same deep freeze as consumers out battling the weather. Here to update us now is Zacks retail analyst Rob Plaza. We have a lot to talk about here with other issues and trends, including sales, but that's okay because you give short answers, so I think we'll get it all in. But yes, the January sales, same-store sales numbers are out now, and with the exception of discounter Walmart, which had a surprise of its own for the street, and a handful of other specialty chains, there are actually other retailers still suffering the same big declines, right?
Yeah, the trends that we saw during the December month, the holiday season, carried over into January. There were no real surprises other than analyst expectations were, for the most part, lower, so companies kind of came in ahead of that.
So the street was actually looking for, as a group, they follow a group of 35 retailers on the street, apparently, in an index that they have. They were looking for January same-store sales for that group to be down 2.3% compared to just a slight gain of a year ago, and that was about 0.4%, I believe. You have your own index, however. Rob says, heck with the streets index. I've made my own. So you have how many, 20 stocks in your index?
Yeah, we look at 20 stocks, including Walmart, and that's pretty much the barometer anyway. It's whatever Walmart is doing is a good picture of what's happening. So.
Okay, and since you just put this together, we can only, I guess, do a month over month because you only go back through December of 2008. But of the 20 stocks in your index, what should January sales as a whole look like percentage-wise?
Including Walmart, it was the same as the index that you just talked about. It was
identical?
We were down 2.3%, including Walmart. And if we exclude Walmart, though, it was down 5%. And both of those metrics were the same as December. So the trend isn't worsening. It's not getting better, but it's still the same as it was during the holidays.
Well, we may need to be reporting that figure going forward, ex-Walmart, because they had another surprise for the street this morning. Not only did their sales numbers come in as they had forecast them to come in, but they told the street that beginning today they are not going to be issuing monthly same-store sales forecasts anymore.
Right. I mean, that was kind of surprising for somebody like Walmart who's so in touch with their suppliers, in touch with their customers. But it just goes to show how hard the industry is getting, how hard the market is, how bad the economy is, and it's impacting their ability to forecast even 30 days in advance.
So it says they're not going to be issuing sales forecasts. That does not mean that they are going to withhold the actual numbers, though.
That's to be seen. I don't officially cover Walmart, but we've seen a trend over the last 2 or 3 years where retailers have stopped reporting on a monthly basis and just pulled those comps together on a quarterly basis. It'd be hard for me to believe that Walmart would actually pull back those monthly reporting, the monthly reporting of its same-store sales.
If they did, though, that's going to really skew the index reading, which may skew the radar as far as spotting these trends month over month is concerned.
True, it'll have a huge impact on what I'm doing. In my 20 stocks that I've gotten in the Zacks retail index, if you will, Walmart accounted for almost 45% of the total sales, and that's just their U.S. operations. That's excluding Sam's Club and their international ops. Okay, so you're not looking for these sales numbers to get better anytime soon. Let's go to some of the other issues and trends that are kind of popping up here. Okay. Apparently, customers seem to be finding equal and in some cases even greater values at the department stores, leaving some of the discounters to be losing their edge as far as consumers are concerned. Yeah, there's no reason to go to an off-price retailer when you can go into Nordstrom's and see 50% off or 60% off, or Kohl's. Kohl's they were aggressively discounting throughout the quarter. If you're even higher end, it's Zacks. Zacks is having a hard time selling anything at full price. And that's going to just get worse for those discounters. So might we see some of the discounters going out of business first? I wouldn't say go out of business first because they still supply an off-channel for the merchandise that can't get moved. Mm-hmm. And right now one of the big themes that retailers are trying to do is reduce their inventories because they brought too much into the holiday season, and that's why the markdowns were so large. So this gives them another channel, another way, reaching a customer that they may not be able to reach. in their stores.
Retail sector shed a little bit more than 500,000 jobs for all of 2008. That is something that you see continuing?
It's going to continue as sales. It's a vicious circle. As sales sales trends continue to worsen. There's really only one way, or a few ways to cut costs. The largest cost component is usually your labor. So if you start eliminating jobs, it helps keep what profits that you might not be able to gain otherwise for retailers. So yeah, we're going to see the job losses continue.
What are you looking for the holiday season? Those figures are going to be coming out in the next few weeks, the final numbers for the holiday season. For earnings,
yeah, what we're going to see, there's three things that I'm looking at. One is going to be gift card breakage. That's a term that you go and you buy a gift card for somebody for the holidays, and then they go and redeem it.
Yep.
People that don't use those cards, now it doesn't, for most stores, I mean, the money can't expire. But if you've had that card for, say, a year or 2 years, a retailer who's struggling might make an assumption that, well, we've got all these gift cards that are out there, so we're going to assume they're not going to be cashed in. Mm-hmm. They've already collected the money for it, so now they're going to move that onto their income statement and show a little bit higher earnings.
Okay.
That's going to help offset profit margin decay. Because of the aggressive discounting we saw, margins are going to be way down for the holiday season. That's the second one. The third one is called inventory shrink, and that's inventory that goes from the supplier to the point of sale, and if it doesn't make it that far, the inventory is said to shrinkage. It's otherwise known as theft, or it gets broken. We've seen several news stories about shoplifting increasing, and I think that's going to be a story as we go forward, as people find it harder and harder to shop, but they still might want to get some of that merchandise. So that's going to affect margins as well. Okay,
give me the top two themes for 2009 in retail.
For 2009, it's going to be store closures, and because there's still too many stores, too much retail square footage out there. And then the second is going to be, as they're reducing inventories in their stores, productivity levels are going to decrease. And that's just sales per square foot. If you've got less merchandise in your store, it's hard to really increase your sales per square foot.
You're actually looking for the first half of 2009 to be worse than the fourth quarter of 2008?
Absolutely. If you had there was actually a reason to go out and shop during the holidays. You're buying Christmas presents. You're looking at all these deals that are there.
Right.
And it was tough for retailers to bring store traffic. Increase it, or even have levels that we saw last year. Mm-hmm. First 6 months of this year, there's really no reason to go out and buy other than through need. So,
are we close to the bottom in retail stocks?
Unfortunately, we're not. It goes back where there's too much supply, too many retail stores. We need to see more store closures. We need to see malls close. And
maybe you need to see it, but I don't know that we all need it. What you're saying is for the sector to become healthy again.
If you're just looking at retail stocks and looking for a time to buy, we're going to have to see more stores closing, less retail square footage out there.
And just no way to avoid that if we wanted to see that group pop back up again.
No. If we see any benefits from the stimulus or any artificial means to increase spending, it's going to be short-lived.
But normally, stocks move higher like 6 to 9 months in advance of the fundamentals, right?
That's true. Before you see earnings growth actually take off, the stocks will anticipate that. But before you can anticipate any kind of earnings growth, you need to see profit margins, number one, stabilize and then improve. And you could see your margins increase even though your sales are still declining. And with the sales trends still worsening and the aggressive discounting still everywhere, profit margins aren't close to stabilizing at this point.
All right, there you have it, the latest retail picture from Rob Plaza, our retail analyst here at Zacks. It's not a pretty picture. In fact, I think Rob's been coloring with black Crayolas a lot lately instead of all of those pretty colors in the big box. But with Rob, I'm Terry Ruffalo.